Hello.
Jesus Christ. Come on, man. If I'm gonna turn the show over to you to open, you got to do better than that. Give me your best open.
All right, y'all, we're back. Live from the, well, actually, we're not live from the Hedgehog Attraction Tower anymore. We're live recording. You're not listening live.
Yeah.
How's that?
I was we missed last week. And not because of my ass, okay?
Yeah, it was because of you.
Oh no. Oh, it was definitely not because of me. Definitely not. I mean, I messaged you on Wednesday last week, the day that we've been recording, for the last 2 weeks prior to that. And you messaged me back about midnight or something. Oh, I've been on this video game I got today. I'm like, I didn't even ask what video game it was. I just said, okay.
Well, I spent $70 on the damn game. I'm gonna play it.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't have cared if you played while we were recording. Okay, would have made no difference to me. I was gonna record an episode by myself on like Thursday when I tried to get you again on Thursday and you just ignored me. Um, I was gonna try to record one on Thursday and I was just gonna open it. I was gonna say, "All right, guys, we're here, we're back." Blah blah blah. And I was gonna roll through and I was gonna say, "All right, Noah, what do you think?" Noah, 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 hello, wake up, Noah.
Look, I did not ignore you on Thursday.
I mean, I was going to tell him that the Bud Lights got the best of you and you passed out before we could even start recording.
I did not ignore you on Thursday. I messaged you. I don't even remember what I was doing,
Hold
but I
on.
said I'm
Hold
not
on.
gonna be back till late.
I got to
I
pull my.
meant we can still do it, but I'm not going to be home until like 10, 11 o'clock.
Listen. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to go back here.
Yeah.
Through my
I said, I ain't
messages.
going to be home till late. You said, me too.
All right. Hold on. On Wednesday, want a podcast tonight? My bad. Been balls deep in this new video game I felt.
Don't read
Probably.
my text I just sent you.
It's probably not very deep. Anyways, I said all good. And then I said, you want a podcast tonight? I won't be home for a little while. I said, I won't either. And then I never heard from you again until today.
Yeah, don't read that one.
You don't want me to read the one you sent me earlier?
Don't read that one.
It goes well with your username.
Is it still the same? It didn't even give me an option.
Yeah, well, it figured you were, so it just stuck with it.
I'm surprised Zoom ain't called Joe Biden on me yet or something.
Yeah, well, they might before it's over with. I don't know. I don't know. We're about to get way off the damn rails here. I mean, this is the Pit Chatter podcast, right? I mean, that's what this is, right?
Yeah, but the problem is when there ain't a whole lot of pit chatter.
Well, but listen, I mean, kind of our conversation's been Pit Chatter. Um, Not much racing things going on, especially in our area. I mean, obviously, there's other things. I mean, they had this past weekend was Sonoy, Flow Night in America. Some dirt racing in Georgia, South Carolina on Cherokee on Sunday. I mean, I know you don't know about that because you're too cheap to buy Flow. But
Yep. Too cheap.
I mean, Jesus, man, I'm seriously thinking about starting to GoFundMe.
Well, let's start it.
I mean, I think if we could tell Kent Chrisley everything that was going to happen next year, or at least some version he would believe, he'd probably buy it for you.
Look, let's do it. Somebody hook me up because I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, it's great, man.
I still am a firm believer that I should get a free membership, at least for 1 year.
Well, like I told you the last time, you haven't asked, so that's why you don't have a
I don't
free
know who
membership.
to ask.
Oh, listen, I will send you the phone number. You just tell me when you want to call them. I'll send you the phone
I'll
number.
be like, hey, man, I'm one of your most esteemed commentators, and I can't even get a free membership on this thing. What's going on? I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like once you call a race, yeah, I think for life, but I'd settle for a year subscription.
yeah. Well, you give them your credit card, and they'll hook you up with a year's subscription. Okay.
Oh yeah, I bet they will.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes.
That's not. I mean, we paid $40 for 1 month just to watch the Martinsville race. So
Well, I mean, listen, by the time you paid for that 1 month, you could have just went on and added a couple more months in there and you would have paid for the whole thing.
can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
Man, you're gonna miss a good one this weekend, man. Florence Motor Speedway this weekend. The Bud 8 car for Dale Jr. is back. They got about, I don't know, 50 some cars, 55, 56 cars entered in the race, 36 spots. Dale Jr. on his, I have to laugh. Dale Jr. on the Dale Jr. download this week. He's, well, if we don't make this race, come on, man.
Yeah,
There's a damn promoter's provisional for a reason because your ass is racing either way.
yeah. I just listened to that one today too.
Oh my God, man. I mean, he makes it sound like they would actually run the race without him. I mean, they would obviously if he crashed out or blew up or couldn't race for some reason.
That would suck. First heat rate, something happened. You
Oh man,
know, you know the crowd's gonna clear out.
oh it is. It's going to be a big crowd too. I was going to go down and sell merch, for race 22 this weekend, but Dale Jr.'s merch trailer is probably going to get the majority of money this weekend, and I don't want to be standing around with my thumb up my butt. So would have enjoyed the race, but I mean, other than that, I
You
can
can
watch it
set
on
up your
Flow.
little pitiful tent next to his giant semi truck. Set up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's about what would have happened. So,
You can
I
do
mean,
it.
hey, I mean, I'd have had real race car drivers, in mind though. What I mean, I could have had, Kyle Dudley and Mike Looney and David Roberts and, Kyle Waltz and, I mean, Matt Waltz, sorry, not Kyle, that's his brother.
What about Tim
Merch.
Waltz?
Do what?
What about Tim Waltz?
You favor that guy. If you didn't have so much hair, you and him would look just alike.
Oh, come on. Hey, show some respect. Is any of our local guys racing down there?
uh, no. No, that's another reason. That's another reason why, I'm not not trying to make the trip down there. Don't think that you know, I mean, if you get those guys in there, you might could sell a few of their shirts and hats and stuff. And I'm sure I could have sold some Race 22 stuff. I mean, the Race 22 brand is still, pretty big and pretty well known. But I don't know. It's gonna be hard to compete with the Bud 8, man.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's excited about the Bud 8, and I like Dale Jr. I really do. I really think that he has good intentions when it comes to this level of short track racing. But I think that guys like him and those guys owning the car store. I think, man, I think they're ruining this level of racing. Either that or they're going to fix it by ruining it. You know what I mean? Already seen where Dominion Raceway is planning on dumping their late model division. Virginia Racers will be their top division. I don't know what they'll call it. They'll probably call it late models, but the Virginia Racer division, which is like a limited, like we ran this past year, but on a 8-inch tire,
Huh.
which makes for much better racing. It's what I wanted to do last year when we had our meeting. I don't know if you were there or if you remember, but when we had our rules meeting, I've tried to get them guys to go with basically like Super Street rules, which is an 8-inch tire, and they could do whatever they wanted to, whatever motor, you know, whatever anything, carburetor, transmission, rear ends. It don't make any difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the racer man never does what's good for the racer. I mean, not that I want to bring it up, but you got some things you're working on, and the racer's always asking for more, man. I mean, they're always asking for stuff they really don't need, but they want it.
Yeah, you want it, but then you don't realize how quickly it snowballs
Oh yeah,
and
listen,
turns into a way too much money type deal.
listen. Think about this past year, okay? So I'd been, staying hold with the Stock Four division on not allowing the any type of aftermarket wheel, and even the safety wheel. I wasn't against it. I understood its value, but I was like, man, do you know how quickly this can get out of hand? And well,
Yeah.
I allowed it. Started out, it was for the right front. Then, well, we need at least both the right sides. Okay, well we'll give you both of them. Hey man, well we're always swapping around tires, so if we just had all four, that would make a lot of sense. Okay, we'll just let you have all four. Well, in that, like even in South Boston's rules, there's no specific that the wheel is not specifically wrote out and like linked in there. Neither was it in ours. So we ended up with like two different wheels. They were they were decimals of points, but they were about a half inch. One of them was a half inch wider than the other. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard all about our buddy that's got a big old fat rim.
Well, he's not the only one, but that's a whole nother story. That's the problem, though. What happens is, when you don't have that like that, and going back, that's a me issue. That was a me screw up. I should have had in the rule book that it was this exact wheel, and here's the link, and that's the only one you
Yeah,
can get. But because I didn't realize that there was two of them. Not that it really
yeah.
mattered. Speed wise, it made no difference whatsoever. But boy, in the racer's head, a fraction of an inch, makes all the difference in the world. Um, you know,
Well, you never want to admit you got beat just because the other guy was
sure,
better.
sure.
So
Listen,
you're like, of course, I didn't lose because I'm not as good. I lost because he's got that rim on there.
listen. I tell Junior all the time, like, he would tell me after a bike race. I'd say, well, why didn't you win? Well, so and so's got this bike, and they did this, and they moved up here, and they started over here, and they did this, and I mean, like 47 excuses. And I said,
Look,
well,
he's ready to go.
I said, damn it, boy, you're gonna make a great race car driver because you got all the excuses down already.
But never has it come out of his mouth that the other guy just pedaled harder. You'll
Exactly.
never hear him say
No, no, no
that.
way, no way. Um, but like, so things like that can just get out of hand. That was my point to that was things like that could just get out of hand really fast. I mean, it's just like those guys went down there to Caraway, and they've been allowing cut springs. It's not in the rules, but whatever. We don't care what you do. You know, well, then they had the issue down there with the rear end, with the one car had it. It was something that was built in stock and, basically tied the rear end down. And, so they had to, all right, we're going to let these other guys do that. Well, half of their division, they'd been averaging 20 some cars, probably 18 to 20 cars. Well, the night they went down there, was the night that they decided to do that. Well, half the division boycotted. There was only 11 cars there that night, and three of them was from Franklin County.
Yeah.
So, I mean, half the division just said, you know what? We don't like that. And it just gets out of hand in a hurry. And the racer is always looking for what he thinks is going to be that edge for him. And he never thinks about the consequences that are going to come with that.
Well, it'll snowball naturally on its own.
It will.
I mean, look at the stock fours. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
from 2 years ago, you got the same cars. To this past year, they're a half a second faster, and the rules didn't change that much. Actually,
They should have been
hypothetically,
slower.
based on your rules, they should have got slower, but everybody got half a second faster. And let's be real, all the cars didn't get half a second faster by following the rules.
No. And there's always little things in the rules, that, you know, either can't be checked for very easily or the inspector, me included, previously, just whatever. I don't care about that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's another thing that happens at every racetrack in every division everywhere, and it's the reason that every division's evolved to not be affordable. And that's the racer will call up the tech man. Hey man, I was thinking about doing this right here to my car. Well, then the tech man's thinking, well, gosh, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what you do. Yeah, well, then the racer takes that a little step further, does a little
yeah,
something a little extra, and then you pick up two tens, and then you do something else and you pick up another 10. It just evolves and gets out of hand really fast, man. I mean, the mini stock division, that division is a perfect example of what happens. That and the late models, for that matter, is a perfect example of what happens when you just let the rules get out of hands. And to the contrary, the Legends division is the perfect example of what happens when you don't let the rules get out of hand.
yeah.
They have a very strict governing body, INEX, who has looked over that division. Now they've got a little stupid in the last couple of years, in my opinion, but for the most part, they've done an exceptional job of keeping everything the same, not letting the rules change, not letting the rules evolve, and just keeping these guys in a box.
Was it them I heard about that said that they have like really harsh penalties also for if you get caught doing something, or was that some other division?
I imagine they do. Like firsthand knowledge, I can tell you, like the Fast Track Dirt Series, they have great, you know, penalties. So like they want you to keep, the crate engines. They want you to keep them stock. Well, if you don't, well, then you're out for a year. If you get caught, you're out for 1 year. You cannot compete with them for 1 year. That's a big ass penalty, man.
Yeah, that's a good way to keep them from doing that.
It is. Um, it's interesting. I mean, it's the best. It's the best way to do things. But you know, when you're Joe Blow promoter at Joe Blow Speedway, you know, man, if I kick this guy out for a year, it cost me a car.
Yeah,
Well, soon enough, when you let people get away with that stuff, even if you disqualify them, you're letting them get away with it because there's no real penalty. Um, Soon enough, man, you just run off all the other racers. When you could have just run this one guy off, and it would have been okay. Other racers would have took that. They would have respected that. But it's hard to do. It's very hard to do in that moment, man. It's very, very hard to do.
I'll tell you what else I heard on Dale Jr. I don't know if it was the same episode. I listened to two of them today.
Yeah.
Uh, but it really made me feel like a piece of garbage, especially trying to do what I'm trying to do now. He was talking about how in some of these tours they only got 25 to 28 cars, and that's not good enough, and they're failing. And I was like, God, I killed to have 28 cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, I
he's
mean,
talking about that's terrible. It ain't gonna work.
yeah. I'd have to listen to that one to understand the context of the conversation because, I mean, the car store doesn't draw but about that. So, I'd have to get real dialed in to know the context there and understand what he was saying. But um, did we talk about Lonesome Pine on the last episode? I don't think we did. Did we
I
talk
don't
about it?
believe so. No.
Well, listen, I find myself I'm critical of other promoters and other track owners at times of things that I think they do really stupid. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I think that Lonesome Pine, and I've been critical of some of the stuff that they've done, and that particular promoter who was at Motor Mile previously, I've been critical of him at least in private conversations. And I got to tell you though, in my opinion, they're hitting a home run this off season. They got rid of two or three divisions, which is something we did last year, which I thought was a home run
Yeah.
for us. I mean, it took a while. It took a while to look like a home run. At first half of the season, we looked like a bunch of idiots. Okay, I'd have been much better off if I'd had about five more divisions with about three more cars, so I'd had 15 more cars in the pits. But at the same time, it worked out in the end. Um, but they took their late model. They got rid of they got rid of their late model division. They got rid of their limited division, which sounds crazy in itself. Um, and I think they got rid of their mini stock or mod 4 division. So that's the three divisions they got rid of. But the big move that they made was in place of the late models and in place of the limiteds, they put the super street division, which like I was just telling you, 8-inch tires, which is what I thought we should have done last year. I think our division by the end of the year last year would have been double what it was had we done that.
Yeah.
I let the racers talk me out of it, and I never should have done that. And two, we're kind of in a, it's a weird thing. What I needed was I needed a guy like Kyle Dudley there to race every week in the Super Street division to give Jimmy Mullins some competition.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Mullins killed. He's just a great driver, and he's really good on that type. When it comes down to the driver ability, man, Jimmy Mullins stands out.
Yeah.
And that's what the Super Street division does is it comes down to driver ability. So, I say that we would have been double, but if you don't get somebody there that can compete with them, then it won't. But I mean, somebody like Kyle Barnes or Kyle Dudley or Tristan Barnes even got really good in those cars. But the deal that Lonesome Pine's doing, switching that, I think's a big move, man. I think if somebody were to open Motor Mile, I personally think that would be the best move.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm the guy that opens Motor Mile, is that the move I'm gonna make? Probably not. Even though I believe in it, I think the limited division still has some viability left there. Um, but I bitch all the time in private conversation, especially with other promoters. So Mike Diaz from Southern National is one of them. Darren Hackett, other people. They got multiple divisions of late models. They got late models and limiteds and chargers, and so they got all. I'm like, why are we dividing up the same fucking car, man? Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And sorry, I dropped the f bomb there. I didn't mean to do that, but it's stupid.
Getting a little heated.
Yeah, I do, man. I'm very passionate about how stupid that is. Okay, it's just very stupid. Um, I don't know, man, but I feel like Lonesome Pine did a really big thing there, and I'm trying to look. It looks like they just released their schedule here. Um, I can't really see it on this thing that I've got it on here, but looks like they just released their schedule, and I mean they've narrowed down their divisions, and man, I really feel like they're gonna have a really good season, and that's a guy who has taken a lot of heat. Mark Ebert, that's a guy who's taken a lot of heat there, for his time at Motor Mile, but man, if he continues down the path he's on and it goes the way that I think it's going, he's going to make a difference there at Lonesome Pine.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if I could look at a magical orb 10 years in the future, what late models are going to be like. Because some of the stuff really is getting out of hand. But I
Well,
mean,
it
the
ain't
Super
getting out of
Street,
hand.
from what I've seen, it's a good way to kind of negate that because
Yep.
on them 8-inch tires, there's only so much you could do.
That's it. That's it. I mean, that's like the difference. Like I'm gonna tell you, yeah, and that's a whole nother thing. I almost did something. Most people don't know this. I only talked to two or three people when I was going to do this, and you may not even know this. But like earlier in the year, I was thinking about going to Cobra tires. Now, I don't in itself. I don't think that was stupid. I think that'd be a great move. That would have been good for late model super streets. Mini stocks, legends, even probably. But I was like, man, you know what? They got a tire that can go on these stock fours. Man, I can kind of control the tire situation then. You know what I mean? Not that I want to make the money off them. I don't care about that. I don't want to be. I'm that promoter that never wanted to be in the tire business. Very few of them, don't want to be in the tire business. They all want that revenue. I never did because I didn't feel like it was important or it was enough. But um, so my ignorance, I spent a good part of the early part of this past year thinking about, okay, I'm gonna put these stock fours on these tires. I mean, do you know how out of hand that would have got, and how much faster they would have got? They'd probably been a second faster.
Probably. I remember that Josh ran some. He went down there. I don't know if it was you that gave them to him or if it
Oh
was
no, no,
Wes.
he ran some Hoosiers, but yes,
Oh,
same
I thought
thing,
he was
same
running
thing.
Cobra.
And I think he picked on those Hoosiers. I think he picked up what, a good half second, 6/10 of a second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's what he said was about a half a second.
Well, that Cobra is about a half a second faster than that tire.
Yeah.
It's proven to be in the mini stocks at Lonesome Pine and Kingsport and even on the Carolina mini stock tour. So that would have been a very and listen, we're all human, promoters. We're all human. We're all idiots at times. And that would have been a really dumb move, and I'm glad I didn't do it. Very glad,
Well, I
actually.
mean, it's hard to tell when you're trying to make decisions. You never know how stuff's going to work out.
I mean, you don't. You really don't. I mean, it's you just never know if you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Hell, man, just in all honesty, because I try to be straightforward. In all honesty, like not going back to Franklin County, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure. Not sure it's the best decision.
Your breaking news: Langley returning to
No,
Franklin County.
no, no.
You heard
Listen,
it here, folks.
Jesus Christ.
He's going
Uh,
back. He's better than ever.
yeah, I don't know about all that. I tell you what, though, not being in the center of it, like man, I can really think about ways that I could have done better. Like it's been a great moment of reflection for me. So
That's how it always goes. Once you're out, then you start coming up with a great idea.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Do that all the time. You get in an argument with somebody, and then you're
Oh
in the
yeah.
shower later. You're like, "Damn it! I should have said that. That would have been so good."
I'm usually quick witted enough that I don't feel that way afterwards usually, but I do every now and then. I'll come up with something good and I go, dang. I want to go back to the Lonesome Pine thing before I get off of that. I don't want to give all the credit to Mark Ebert because I don't think those are Mark Ebert decisions. I think those are Jeff Rourke decisions. That's the guy who runs the track for him. Jeff Rourke is a former mini stock and late model and Pro Cup driver. And I think he's doing some good things there at Lonesome Pine. And I know there's some people that's going to be listening to this that are not Mark Ebert fans, and you'll be like, man, Langley's such a dick, for giving him props. But I mean, I give props where they're due. I don't care who you are. I mean, I even give you props, before, never to your face, but you know, maybe behind your back.
That's fine. I know I'm the best, plain and simple.
Oh, we know you piss excellence. We know. Um, not a lot coming out, schedule wise or information wise. We talked about the Dominion thing. We talked about Lonesome Pine. King Sports Speedway put out their schedule. That's kind of in our not so immediate region here. Ace Speedway sounds like they're gonna do some things down there. Hearing that they're switching over to 602 mods, which I think is going to be a big help for them. So maybe some real good decision making going on there too. I wish they would. I wish they'd combine their limiteds and late models, or get rid of one of them because I think it would help them so much. But I don't believe they're going to do that. And so I think there's a little bit of stuff going on in racing, but just not enough. Not enough of it. Not enough of it yet, and nothing locally, man. I mean, I don't. I didn't ask you, but I mean, I ain't heard nothing. I ain't heard a peep about Motor Mile, and I know I'm kind of trying to be in the running, and but I really ain't heard nothing from them, nor have I heard about anybody else doing anything. I hear some BS rumors every now and then, but like I'm somebody will say, well, hey, so and so is going in together, and they're getting Motor Mile. Well, these those two people don't even like each other, so no, that's a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I ain't heard nothing about either place. Have you?
No, not really. Heard a couple of rumors, but like we were talking before we started, you hear a different rumor every day. Who knows what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
apparently, according to Motor Mile or whatever it's called now, even after they make a decision, it's still not final. They go back and say, "Well, never mind."
yeah. I don't. I mean, there's. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of people. You kind of jokingly said it a minute ago, but I mean, there's a lot of people who think that, think for some reason that I'm gonna go back to Franklin County, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't. Okay, but as of today, there have been zero conversations about that, and I don't see any way that changes.
We'll see.
I mean, we will for sure.
We'll see you the next month once you're making announcements on Facebook.
I, I don't. I mean, yeah, I do have a big announcement coming up though.
What's that? Coming up? Like you can't say it, or
No, no, no. I'm gonna put out the banquet date. I mean, that'll be a big announcement.
oh, I mean that is always fun.
I mean, it's not breaking news or nothing. Oh, the banquet's a good time, man. I'll be honest with you, like I feel like we have one of the best banquets there is because we're a little, Franklin County is a little redneck, rough around the edges,
No,
racetrack. Um,
I thought we were all strictly professional.
and I think that people when they come to our banquet for the first time, they expect it to be in some rinky dink, torn up building and just not very well put together. And it's, in my opinion, and I've had other people, comment, very very professionally, done. But very redneck at the same time. The racers get a little rowdy and they have a little bit of alcohol and they say some things they probably shouldn't say.
Look, you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd, man. You can't take a redneck out of them boys. Just because they show up wearing a button up, don't mean you can take the redneck out of them.
Oh my, oh my.
Especially towards middle end of the night, once the beverages have been flowing for a little while,
Yeah. Oh
it,
yeah.
it tends to get out of hand.
Yeah. The later it goes, the dumber the things that are said at the microphone.
I love you can see people's progression downhill. You'll see
Oh.
this guy come up for whatever he won the championship and one thing, and he's like, "Thanks, guys, I really appreciate it." And then an hour later, he gets called up for one of the, I don't know what you call them,
Fun awards, fun
the
awards.
fun awards, and they're like, yeah, that. You're like, oh, he's
Yeah,
trash.
yeah. I've been to a lot of banquets for a lot of different racetracks and series, and like the Virginia Mini Cups back in the day, and the Smart Modifieds, and Franklin County banquets in the past, and some other tracks. And I've been to a lot of them. But man, I tell you, uh, that you mentioned the fun awards. Man, that's what I think makes the Franklin County banquet so much fun and so good. Because I mean, those right there, you know, usually by the way that I'm, delivering what the award is, people can figure out who it's going to, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Gives them a chance to talk crap or say something funny or do whatever.
Yeah,
It's usually a good time.
yeah, I would agree. I mean, and that's what I want. Like, and when I mentioned, people's opinion of the banquet, like last year, I think it was funny. Will Smith, Gary Smith's dad, going into the banquet, he's telling me, okay, yeah, and we were we were working on some sponsorship things, and we were doing some stuff together, and he was helping, from the marketing standpoint. And, so we're talking, and he's like he's telling me how great the Natural Bridge banquet was, and how good it looked, and not in so many words, but how low his expectations for our banquet was. Okay, so I'm listening to it, and I try to tell him. I said, I think you'll be surprised, man. I think you'll be surprised, and I don't think he was thinking he was going to be surprised. Well, he was. I mean, our banquet is far different from our events. And the facility in which we have the banquet in is far different from the facility in which we race in.
Yeah, a lot of my people were saying the same thing. They had very low expectations, and then they
Yeah.
showed up and they were like, "Oh, damn!"
Yeah. Yeah.
And like they were worried about the food. They was worried we might get some dusty dogs or something. But then they was all chowing down like this shit's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's one thing. Especially the last couple of years, we've had some exceptional food.
Yeah,
And I'm working on this year's food right now. Just kind of getting it all lined up and getting the date. She's supposed to done give that to me already, but I ain't got that yet. So I'm gonna blame her for that one. Um, but still working on that. It's probably going to be the mid mid to late January. I think that's about when I'm thinking about time for it to be,
yeah,
which will be good. Which will be good. Normally I do it. Normally I do it at the end of February because I'm planning on racing within a week or two of that. To start the new season. But I don't have to worry about that this year. So, um, you know, can go
yeah. I'd
ahead.
imagine because of that, it might get a little extra rowdy in there this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I don't know that we talked about this, but like the last race, I was kind of worried. Okay, I went into the race with a lot of anxiety because, Franklin County's a little crazy to start with. It's fun. It's not as crazy as people think it is, but it is crazy. Um, and I told Kim going into the race, I was like, this could be really bad this weekend. Like, you know, there's no repercussions for anything that happens this weekend.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, what
true.
am I going to do? Suspend you for next year?
No, suspend you from the banquet.
No, I like the. I need to sell them the tickets. I don't want to do that. But, there were no repercussions. So I mean, if they got out there and destroyed cars, if they got into a fight, if there's no repercussions. I was really
Yeah.
worried about it, and to be honest with you, it went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to.
It seems like in Franklin County, it's either all or nothing.
It is. It is.
Usually, it's either the night goes off smooth, you might have a little argument here and there, a little something, or the whole night is a shit show.
Yeah.
Everybody's wrecking the hell out of each other. Everybody wants to
Yeah.
fight. I don't know what it is, but it's either all or nothing there.
Yeah, yeah, we got that shit show the week before the last race, so maybe they got it out of their system then.
Look, I will say that was the most fun, probably most fun night I've ever had down at that track. Might not have been fun for you, but I was
It
having a
was.
great time.
It was the Dusty Dogs incident was probably the most not fun incident of the night. But otherwise, I mean, I really, it was just a typical night in Franklin County.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you
was a
used
banger.
like I had a friend who runs another track. He came to a race there with me in 20 back in like 2015, 2016, because I was there in 2016, 2017. So either 2016 or 2017. And, he's there and he's just there taking in the race. And, he comes over to talk to me before he leaves and he goes, man, I don't know how the hell you do it. He said, this is the most chaotic, crazy crap I'd ever seen in my life. He said, if my racetrack was like this every week, he said, I'd have to put a pacemaker in or something. Okay. He said, this is crazy. And I just
Yeah.
laughed. I'm like, it's really not. It's really not as crazy as you think it is. I mean, it is crazy, but it's
I mean,
just
maybe compared to other tracks, maybe it's we're used to it is the problem.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you the difference. And I told John Joyce this one time. I said the difference is all the things that happen in Franklin County happen everywhere else. They're blown out of proportion. One at Franklin County, like every little thing that happens, they act like it's never happened before. Okay,
Yeah,
you know, and usually, like you said a minute ago, when it goes toward a shit show, it don't come back. It
yeah,
just the rest of the night goes
it
that
falls
way.
apart
Yeah.
quickly.
Where at other racetracks, they may have one of those incidents a night. Well, we got 15 of them. Okay.
Yeah,
Now next week we come back, we ain't got zero. They may have one again this week, but we ain't got zero. That next race. So I think that's the big difference, man.
that's what Franklin County. You bust all your incidents out for a month in one night.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the month is smooth. You got to get it out of the way quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess. I mean that's definitely the way it seems, anyways, for sure. So.
Yeah,
Yep. 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 So anything else? You got anything else for me?
I don't know. Nothing I can think of.
All right. Well, we're
You
going.
see Mike Tyson's cheeks?
Did I see what? Oh, his
Mike
ass
Tyson's
cheeks.
cheeks.
Jesus Christ, man. Yes. I mean that was the most interesting part of the fight, unfortunately. You know,
I about spit my beer out. I was like, "What the hell? What?
I
Turn the
don't
camera off, man!"
I don't know about your opinion, but my opinion of the fight was, man, you could see in that first round or two that if Mike Tyson really wanted to, he could have ended Jake Paul's life. Okay, not just his career, but his life.
I don't know. It
I mean,
was
if
a
you go
smooth
back and
fest.
if you just watch, like there's this one guy on TikTok that just has clips of Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson actually does something, and then you go and watch like the video of him sparring like 2 weeks before that. He wasn't really fighting in that fight. I mean, you can clearly see it. And
I
now
did see one
later on,
that
he was for
looked
sure
bad.
gassed.
That yeah, Jake Paul threw a punch. He kind of slipped it, and he was about to end his night with a hook,
Yeah.
and he pulled it back.
Yep. 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 I mean, you could tell. I mean, it's clear. I mean, because they said that in his contract, he couldn't knock him out or he got nothing. So,
That's exactly what I said. I should have put money on it. Nobody
yep.
believed me. I've been saying all of Jake Paul's fights have been rigged like
Oh,
hell.
they are. They are. Sure.
And I said, that's exactly, I guarantee Tyson said, you can beat me, but you ain't going to knock me out.
Yeah.
It's just, and I said it. I said, Jake Paul by decision.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think that. I mean, I really believe that that Mike could have knocked him out in about 20 seconds.
He probably could have.
You got to go. You got to do yourself a favor. Anybody listening, you got to do yourself a favor. Go watch him sparring 2 weeks before that fight, or the week before that fight, whatever it was. If you just go watch his sparring video. I promise you didn't see the same Mike Tyson.
Forget that. Just go watch the fight before. You see them girls beating the hell out of
Oh
each
my God.
other. That was the fight of the night.
Yeah, it
You
was,
could have
man.
just turned it off after that.
that was a real fight for sure.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't no scripted there.
Yeah, no,
They was
no.
going at it.
Yeah, they that one lady that cut above her eye. Holy smokes, man!
It about made me throw up. I don't do good with injuries like that. And they zoomed in on it. And I was like, oh, oh man, I'm gonna be sick.
Listen, and that thing was deep.
Oh, it was.
Oh my gosh, man, that was. I mean, that old girl. I mean, I guess it come from a headbutt. I mean, she rocked her eye right there for
I'm
sure.
sure if they peeled it back, you could have seen her skull.
Oh, I have no doubts, no doubt in my mind, no doubt. Good entertainment though, man. I know everybody's like, well, the fight was boring. I mean, it was, but it was entertaining. Either way, I mean, it's just listen.
I get
It's just
mad
like a
that
night at the race. It's entertaining business.
Jake Paul is a master marketer.
He is.
I know what's gonna happen, and it sucks me in every time, and I'm still like, I have to watch it.
Right, right.
Maybe today's the day. Get spoiler alert, it's never the day.
Yeah, yeah,
He gets me every time. The
yeah,
man is a genius. I got to give him props there.
yeah. I'd like to. I'd like to. I'd like to see. Um, I'd like to see him get rocked one good time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
I don't either. I don't anticipate that it's going to. I mean it. I mean, listen. When you control all the money, you control the way things happen. So
I saw a meme that said his next fight is Richard Petty.
yeah, yeah.
He's going to fight him next.
God, I can't remember, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the guy, but you remember that boxer that got hit in the back of the head and was, like screwed up afterwards? He's a UFC guy.
I don't remember that.
Oh man, it was a few years ago. He got hit in the back of the head, and now he's pretty messed up. I mean, he's still alive, but he's basically a vegetable of sorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's who they said his next fight was going to be.
I've been seeing all kinds of memes about it.
Oh
Saying
yeah.
he was going to push George Foreman down the stairs next.
I mean, sounds about realistic. I mean, but listen, whatever he does, you're going to be watching.
Yeah, it gets me every damn time.
Yep, yep, for sure, for
I'm
sure.
like, maybe Richard Petty's old ass is going to knock him out tonight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Richard, unlike Mike Tyson, Richard is about as big around as a pencil. So
Yeah.
it's not much chance in him knocking anybody out.
Yeah, I was surprised. I saw him once at Martinsville. I was surprised how small he was.
And he's always basically been that small.
Yeah.
A little bit
This
more so.
was probably 12 years ago is when I saw him. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but he was tiny.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Well, I've been posting all the champions graphics up on Facebook this week. Just put your boy Keyshawn up a little while before we got started recording. I see it's got a bunch of comments, at least on my share.
Oh boy.
Always people talking crap. It's good. Listen, what Keyshawn is good for stirring people up.
I think Keyshawn has amassed like a Jake Paul type deal
I know it. I know
where
it.
he talks so much crap and everybody
Yep.
just wants to see him lose.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
It's a genius marketing plan.
I mean, we talked about it on the podcast after the last race, but I mean, the contrast in him celebrating and everybody else's faces around
Oh, it
was
was.
just. I mean, that should have been captured for a documentary. Okay?
Oh, it would have been perfect just to see the camera pan of
Oh my
sadness.
god, that was good stuff, man. I mean, that was very entertaining for sure, for sure. All right, well,
Yeah, well,
we better cut this thing off. How long we done went now? I don't even know. I can't see. But I mean, we've went longer than I thought we were going to be able to go tonight. I'm working on a guest for next week. I don't want to say who it is in case I don't get them, but working on a guest for next week and bring them in on the Zoom here and have a little conversation with them and maybe get a little longer episode. I had one guy message me talking about. He's like, man, I like you. I like y'all's podcast, but y'all need to talk more. I'm like, well, we better get a guest in there because me and Noah, we talk about all we can.
yeah, there ain't a whole lot going on.
I mean, now if it was after a race, me and you could talk for about 3 hours, I think. But
We can only bullshit our way through nothing for so
right,
long.
right. Also had a message on the track page from a guy named Jason Weber. He had sent in, and this is something maybe in a future uh, podcast we can talk about. He was like, man, he's like, people bash racetracks all the time. He said it'd be great to have the angle and observation from, somebody, that's ran a racetrack to talk about what it costs to put on an event and what the risk is and all that stuff. So that people kind of have a better idea. And I do think that's a good idea. So I can tell you about Franklin County, and I can tell you I can tell you about multiple racetracks. I mean, I've ran events at Franklin County, Ace, Southern National, Ona Raceway, um, a little bit everywhere. So, and I've helped with events at other places and stuff, so I can kind of give a little detail from other places, and I know a little bit about the things that go on at some other racetracks just from talking to their track owners and promoters and stuff. So.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get a little inside angle.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. So when I read what the guy was wanting, I was like, well, yeah, okay, we can probably do that. I mean, I got to sit down before we do the episode and kind of map out what I want to talk about and kind of get me and you on the same page before we get started, and then we can do that. So, anyways, I guess that'll do it for this episode of the Pit Chatter Podcast. Appreciate you being on again this week with me, Noah. I don't know that I enjoy having to see into your bedroom on this Zoom, but other than that, everything's great.
You lucky cameras was on the top half. I ain't got no pants on.
That's too much right there.
Best way to podcast.
I guess I'm gonna keep my pants on though. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Pit Chatter Podcast.
Bing bong.